Volcker rule turned out to be Volcker light or Volcker full of holes. Could you talk about some of the holes that people don't know about?
So one that really concerns us is a blanket exemption for what's called repurchase agreements, or repos for short. And the way I always try to explain that is that's like going to the pawn shop and selling your gold watch, and they give you maybe 75 bucks, and then a few weeks later, maybe you go and buy it back. The problem with repos is they were really a big part of why Lehman fell so hard and so fast, because a lot of these big banks rely on them to raise money and finance things. And they are completely outside the remit of the Volcker rule. And we're also concerned that banks could use these to sort of do what they're not supposed to do via repos, because Wall Street is really good at what we call financial engineering and getting around regulations by being really crafty about the way they do things.
You mentioned Glass-Steagall and everyone coming up to you, what is that? So start there. What is that?
It was a law that was passed in the 30s in the wake of the Great Depression as a response to that big 1929 crash. And it said this sort of casino arm of banking, the investment bank, should be separate from the commercial bank, which is like your grandma and your savings account and the sort of depository institution. So they said, you have to choose. And that's why J.P. Morgan was sort of broken up into Morgan Stanley and J.P. Morgan, is J.P. Morgan decided to stay a commercial bank and take depositor funds, and then they spun off the investment bank arm, and that became Morgan Stanley.
And that's why Goldman Sachs, overnight in the midst of the crisis, suddenly became a bank during
That's
one
right.
weekend, when it was actually an investment bank previous to that. Right?
Exactly.
But what has happened? I mean, obviously, Glass-Steagall was done away with, actually, during the Clinton administration. But now, what has Congress done to rectify the problems of banks combining their speculative arms with their regular banking arms?
So the Volcker rule is not quite Glass-Steagall, but the idea was Paul Volcker wrote this 3-page memo to President Obama saying, what is the riskiest part of banking? The riskiest part is this proprietary trading where banks take their money and invest it and basically bet. And the other risky part is when they own hedge funds or private equity funds, which basically do the same thing. And so the idea behind the Volcker rule is let's take the stuff that put the entire economy at risk in 2008 and say that these big banks that enjoy the Fed discount window and all of this implicit government backing aren't allowed to make these risky bets anymore.
So, you've created a new marketplace concept that's going to disrupt your industry. Shouldn't that be the hardest part of entering the marketplace economy? Well, how are you going to build your marketplace? You could do it yourself. You'd spend countless hours finding the right vendors, racking up millions of dollars in expenses, hoping you've acquired the right hardware and physical infrastructure. And then you'd need to seek out experienced marketplace IT staff to keep your systems operating. There's a better way. Introducing the NASDAQ Marketplace Services Platform, a fully SaaS end-to-end platform purpose-built for marketplaces in multiple industries. Fueled by decades of expertise and technology know-how, NASDAQ's Marketplace Services Platform provides all the services required to operate a market, create and issue new assets to be traded, safely match your buyers and sellers at speed and scale through a variety of market models, efficiently settle transactions and digitally transfer asset ownership, protect your market with robust monitoring capabilities, all on a single platform. Whether you're a startup marketplace for tokenized or digital assets, a capital markets player looking to rapidly deploy an innovation initiative, or an established organization implementing marketplace-like structures to transform your business, NASDAQ's platform can take your business in bold new directions. With flexible APIs and a fully cloud-deployed platform, you can strengthen interoperability across your ecosystem, rapidly build out and scale end-to-end business processes, and accelerate your marketplace journey, getting to market quickly, efficiently, and before your competition. The NASDAQ Marketplace Services Platform. One platform to meet all of your needs.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And guys, please like and subscribe. If you do like what you're listening to, please inform your friends and family. It's a very imperative time we get back to learning finances and understand how the world really works. Because once we understand how the world really works, we understand that everything is planned out. Now, I want to thank those who donated to the Cash App and Patreon. Much love. Also, those who purchased the book, Crypto Teacher and NWO book. Of course, guys, we're going to get into Bitcoin and cryptos first. Right now, of course, Bitcoin right now is steady Guys, don't forget, what do we look at? The indicators, XRP, stable coins, and then also volume. We know today is Friday. Also, we know CME, BitMEX, the contracts end today. As we could see, we dumped earlier. Remember, guys, there's no rules in this game. So we know institutional investors come in on the weekends. That's why I said we should get that leg up. And then what happens? On June 30th, we get another repo. So as you can see this week, the stock market took a low, cryptos took a low, but repos do what? Of course, give us that high. Now, also going over that video that you saw, basically going over the repos, that was the chink in the armor for the Volcker rule. And what happened? That's the only thing that kept this economy going was the repos, guys. So you have to remember that that video was 8 years ago, guys. 8. And that's what they bank on. They bank on that you're not going to remember, because the majority of times you're not. You're just going to keep it moving. Taking care of your bills, your family. You're not going to look back and see what happened, but they're always moving forward. They always have a plan, guys. And that's why I said piece everything together. That video was 8 years ago. So the fact is that they already knew what they were going to do with the repo market a long time ago. Remember Zotane? Remember the video I did with Zotane? Now, basically, also, guys, with the Volcker rule, why do we change rules, guys? Why do we change rules? We change rules because we don't want to follow by the game and the rules that's in place. We change it so therefore we can do things against the rules. So that's the reason why, of course, the Volcker rule is changing, because guess what? They're going up against a wall. So the repo market is just not enough. They need to open this gambling back up. What is this? Election year. They have to keep this market going on. And the only way to keep that market going on is to open that casino back up. And that's the reason why they had to get Jeffrey Berman out, put Jay Clayton in so they can get all these rule passed. You see they're easing up on the bit license for New York. Of course, he was in charge of, the spot in Manhattan, the attorney. So, guys, just remember, all this is a moving chain. It's all linked together. Now, we also saw NASDAQ launch its marketplace along, with cryptos. So, guys, that should hit your national news. When Bach launched, it should have been national news. NASDAQ launched national news. It's part of the stock market. Why don't they tell people? They don't want to. This is all the mechanisms working in the back. So just make sure we understand that. Now, also getting back in with CME and BitMEX, guys, don't forget they need Bitcoin on July 5th. So they pumped the market before that, though. So don't forget that they need Bitcoin July 5th. We have repo June 30th. And who meets with Congress on June 30th? That's right. You have the Fed and Mnuchin. They want the markets looking good when they meet. They always have the markets looking good. Now, getting into blockchain, what the supply chain, we know that VeChain is going to be big in that. We see Anchorage support DeFi token Keep. Who owns piece of Anchorage? That's right. I've done plenty of videos on them, Andreessen. So, guys, it's all linked together. We have Ripple, TerraPay, partner with Visa. Just like I stated, another piece of the puzzle. There's nothing but a global plan. All these companies are connected together some way, somehow. You just got to do your research. Now, getting over into the global markets, we have, of course, the Fed basically stopping dividends as far as with the banks are concerned, lowering that, restricting that. We have JP Morgan, of course, getting back with the casinos, doing the new ESG credit swaps. Like I said, Goldman, JP Morgan, it's always the same names back doing the gambling. Basically, we had Goldman Sachs CEO say there's going to be more job losses. Guys, we know who caused this. Who caused this? The banks. They shut us down. The banks shut us down, told the government to shut us down. There's no reason why you shut a whole economy down, put people out of work because they're sick. If more people were understanding and conscious, we wouldn't have to worry about paying bills. We tell them no. Print that money that you keep printing and we can live for free. Everything that the Most High gave us is free, guys. Just think about it. Everything He gave us is free. They monopolize it and then sell it back to the masses. That's all it is, guys. We just have to wake up. The more people we wake up, the more understanding people have. They don't fall for the same tricks. Now, basically, we have Microsoft closing all its retail stores. Basically, of course, it's Bill Gates, but they don't have too many stores around. And then also, of course, Kramer says stay-at-home stocks. I should get credit for that stay-at-home term. I should have patented it. You got a trademark on it. But the stay-at-home stocks are surging. But guys, that's all I have for you. Don't forget about the cryptos, Bitcoin, BitU, Binance, if you're new to cryptos. Also the book, NWO book, also the Crypto Teacher. And guys, don't forget about the stocks. Basically, you have your chip stocks, your cobalt, your banking, and the gaming stocks. Also, of course, everybody's sitting at home. Don't forget about those stocks. The biotech stocks are still selling the C word. And then also, guys, because people are sitting at home getting free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and y'all have a wonderful day.